All right, LSU football recruiting is buzzing right now after the end of the season. The staff is getting out doing some big things, going in-house, watching high school football games, and they had some big news last week when local four-star Keylan Moses committed to LSU. He plays over at UHigh. The Cubs had an excellent season. They lost last week, deep in the playoffs in the semifinals, 10-7 there. But this is a really big pickup for LSU. Moses is the brother of Dylan Moses, who was a five-star a couple years ago, went to IMG Academy, but started his career also at UHigh. And he decided to go to Alabama over LSU. A lot of controversy at the time. UHigh, for those who don't know, is literally on LSU's campus. It is like less than a mile from Tiger Stadium, where they play their high school football games, is in the shadow of Death Valley. So it's kind of a big deal for Alabama to come into Baton Rouge, and the heart of Baton Rouge, literally on LSU's campus, and pull a guy away from there. I know he went to IMG, so he wasn't like there for his upperclassmen years, but still, I mean, that was a tough loss for the Tigers back then. And Keylan, I got to go to his ceremony. His mom was there. His family was there. You know, talked a lot about his brother and how he helped him in the process in a way. Like, he had a ton of advice for him. You know, it's not very often you've got brothers where the older one was a highly sought-after recruit and wanted by a lot of colleges and has already gone through this whole process once before. And, you know, it didn't necessarily go great for Dylan. He played a lot at Alabama, but I think he underwhelmed based on what his recruiting ranking was and probably the expectations he had for himself and, you know, perhaps playing a little bit longer in the NFL. It didn't really work out for him as well as he had hoped. And I think that Keylan noticed that, and I'm not sure what Dylan may have said. Hey, don't go to Bama, stay home. But that was his decision, and it's a big pickup for LSU. He's the sixth commitment in the 2025 class, joining players like DeCorian Moore, who is a five-star receiver in next year's cycle. And it's so big to get guys like him on board because they're the foundation for your class. Now you've got a five-star receiver, your future beastly linebacker, that can go out and start recruiting these other highly touted recruits in, you know, Texas, of course, in Louisiana, in the nearby areas, guys they've met at camps, guys that they just know from playing games against each other on Thursday and Friday nights during the season. So it's massive to start building that class early, and that's what they're doing by getting Moses into this class a year before signing day, which is where we're at right now. There's a lot of guys out there that LSU wants. Bryce Underwood, the five-star quarterback from Michigan. There's going to be a lot of highly sought-after players in the surrounding area of Louisiana next year that Texas A&M is going to go after, and Texas is going to go after, and Oklahoma, and, you know, so on and so forth. So to have someone in like Keylan right now to start building this thing, garnering that interest, can't be overstated. And the things that he was saying in his little media session after he committed there, wow, this guy is very confident. The coaching staff told him that they want him to play linebacker. They think he's going to be better than Harold Perkins Jr. eventually. I mean, those are big words, and not his words. That's from the coaching staff, right? And he also thinks that this class is going to be really special. Like, there's a guy named Harlem Berry, 2025 running back out of the New Orleans area, who, you know, obviously LSU would want to come in and hold down that running back position for the next few years. He thinks that, you know, they're going to get all those guys. He has a relationship with guys like Harlem and other guys in the surrounding area, the New Orleans area, North Louisiana, and he thinks they're just going to cast out a wide net and bring all these guys in. And might this be the recruiting class that turns this thing around for Brian Kelly? It doesn't need a lot of turnaround to begin with, believe me. I mean, putting up what will be, in my opinion, back-to-back 10-win seasons is a big deal. But can you bring in that class that will turn the tide even more and will elevate you from being a good team, which I think LSU is right now, putting up 10 wins back-to-back, I mean, that's really good, to being an elite team, which is where I thought they would be this year, but I guess they're not quite there yet. Is this the class that can get this program back to that elite stage? The way it looks right now, the guys they've already got committed, and the way that Keylan is talking about what he's going to do for LSU and for this class when it's all said and done, perhaps it could be. So it was an awesome ceremony. Picked LSU over Texas, over Oregon, Tennessee, Florida. Local kid, staying home. That's what LSU wants to be built upon. That's what Brian Kelly and his recruiting staff has preached since they got here. We need to lock down the state. We need to bring the best kids from Louisiana to Louisiana State University. And I think so far, they've done that. So it's a great start. Let's see how it goes from here. And if anything, man, Keylan Moses is a stud. I've seen him play. He's fast. He plays with an edge. He's extremely athletic, whether it be at running back or linebacker. This kid's going to find an excellent role with this LSU football team in the coming years, and I think eventually he's going to mold into a beast, potentially an all-SEC and all-American player. You got to go watch this kid play next year. He's going to play at UHigh again. This team's going to be very good. They got a lot of studs on that team. You got to see number 10 for the UHigh Cubs next season, and eventually, whatever number he wears at LSU, you're going to want to watch him then as well. Big pickup for LSU.